My name is Roy Langmaid, and this is the third of 3 films about group dynamics. Before I get on to the last of our dynamics, I want to just mention the fact that the mind frames we adopt, particularly when going around a professional task like a focus group or a workshop or a meeting, completely exclude the normal human feelings and interactions that we have when we meet in other, more ordinary social situations. And in those situations, we're only too aware of whether we are attracted to other people or repelled by them or not. Dating, for example, or at a party, or even in a meeting. In other texts, psychologists point out that within 30 seconds of meeting other people, we have formed some kind of judgment, usually based upon an emotional reaction to them. This automatic scanning of people for attractiveness has key evolutionary benefits in the arenas of finding a mate, retaining a mate. Somehow we forget all of this when in a professional group, like a meeting or focus group. But our instincts can't simply be switched off because they're inconvenient in service of professional goals. They're too deeply wired in us for that. Which brings us to the third of Bion's basic assumptions. Remember, these basic assumptions are like mind frames. And this one is pairing. So imagine a focus group or workshop where the moderators and participants appear to be busily tackling the topic guide. What if these same people were also responding to currents of attraction and repulsion between them? When pairing occurs, it's as if 2 members, usually 2, have suddenly discovered a rightness or a wrongness about each other. In the case of attraction, one will always speak fairly immediately after the other, or if words are not possible, will indicate their affection and interest by posture or gesture, leaning forward, nodding, eyes widening, general excitation. Often this pairing may occur with the moderator, and this is particularly important for an anxious moderator because such a person is only too ripe for any indication of liking or affection from members of the group. In psychoanalytic language, pairing assumes that the group or that the couple have met for the purposes of reproduction, a basic assumption that 2 people can met together only for a sexual purpose. Regardless of sex, these 2 people carry out the work of the group through their continued interaction, and the remaining group members look on interestedly and with some degree of relief and a sense of anticipation too. Will this couple produce something, the group's baby, so to speak, into form of ideas or phrases or memorable things that inspire the group? And before you laugh at or dismiss this as ridiculous, take a moment to expand your idea or your notion of reproduction. Not only can people be reproduced, but also words and actions can too. We copy one another a huge amount. We repeat ideas, phrases or sayings we have heard as if they were our own. And there is something subtly libidinal about this conversational reproduction. We may choose to sex up our own language with using catchy words and phrases that we've heard from others. We English are notoriously unwilling to talk about sex in any way at all, really. So to illustrate my point that there are undertones of attraction or repulsion in any group, think of a party, a place where people go in the expectation of meeting people they might find attractive. Transferring that to a business setting, think of all the shenanigans that go on at away days, conferences, on business trips, or in business parties or celebrations. More than half of us meet our eventual life partners at work. Just pretending it doesn't exist puts us more in the grip of these unconscious forces rather than bringing them out into the open and noticing whether it's an attraction or actually what people say that is driving our sense of excitement. Probably as much of 80% of advertising relies upon attractive, even super attractive people to lure us into consideration of the product. Why don't advertisers use the so-called normal people that participants are always clamoring for in focus groups and research? It's because attractive people are more appealing. So to set it firmly in a research context, imagine a focus group where people, two in particular, always speak one after the other. When one says something, the other always follows. Or if words are not possible, as I've said, then by gesture or indications of other forms of approval. They may never discuss or resolve this attraction, a bit like seeing someone you're really curious about on a train. You'll find your attention returning to that person over and over again on the journey. And even though you may never say anything to them, your mind is full of fantasies about them, their lives, how they would feel about you, and so on and so forth. It doesn't matter whether this is called sexual attraction. It could as easily be an engaged friendship, an arrangement of mutual support, or simply a connection that is created because they remind each other of a former friend or partner, someone who was influential earlier in their lives. The point is that the relationship is under the influence of unconscious forces that affect what is said and done. I once had a former girlfriend, albeit from 20 years previously, turn up in a focus group. Throughout the group I was aware of some special connection with this woman, though I did not consciously recall our time together. At the end of the group she stayed behind and she said, "You don't remember me, do you?" I should be offended, but it was a long time ago. "My name is," she told me her name, and we went out together for 6 months in 1975. I recognised her once she'd spoken, and that I had unconsciously shown her more attention than other members of the group during the session. It's funny that qualitative research at its best is such a natural human exchange, but we don't notice the features of it like attraction and repulsion that accompany every casual human interaction. We devote so much energy to the task and the business objectives that we are easily waylaid by the emotional currents that flow between us. And they flow more strongly the greater the degree of intimacy present in the conversation. While we as the moderators may be oblivious as we pursue our tasks, the other members of the group will certainly pick it up. So what can you do about this? Well, firstly, just to bring it out into awareness, notice who you fancy and who upsets you. Secondly, have a co-moderator, particularly with a big workshop, who will help you and stop you from getting entangled with particular individuals or showing your attraction to one member of the group while you're subtly ignoring another. And also don't get connected overly with your co-moderator either, so that you end up beaming attractive stares at each other while the rest of the group look on. So I hope this little series has been useful, and I look forward to talking to you again in my next film. If you have any questions, please give me a call or send me a text.